Greetings people of planet YouTube, my name is Simon aka Fuzz and this is the start of my brand new walkthrough series World of Final Fantasy. This introduction will be very brief since I've already put out my pre-walkthrough prologue video explaining why it is that now I am beginning this particular game and series. So the plan is for this guide to be a 100% playthrough covering every aspect of the game and leading you towards the Platinum Trophy. I will be explaining strategies and useful tips as we go. You can play along with me as you watch this guide and it will be suitable for you whether you're playing along on PS4, Vita or PC. And if you only want to be taken through the required dungeons and story, then stick to the numbered episodes. But if you want to cover absolutely everything, then all of the other standalone videos found throughout this playlist will be useful for you as well. And finally, if you enjoy my World of Final Fantasy guide, then please support me by subscribing to my channel and hitting the thumbs up button on the episodes as you watch them. For now, let's get started.
Prologue. Awake at last. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Time to wake up.
What a nap.
So for this first episode, there's probably, as you'd expect, going to be quite a lot of cutscenes, and I'm going to try and be quiet as much as I can be through the cutscenes, since I know a lot of people will not be watching this particular series as they walk through, but just to watch and enjoy the game, so I'll try and cater to those as well. And there's not many strategies involved in actually watching a cutscene, just sit back and chill. Okay, so we're going to get control of the first character here. And all we need to do is run forward towards the star on the map. So not very hard, not very exciting. One thing you'll notice about this game is the style. It's very much aimed at children. And indeed, my first playthrough of this game was with my kids. They wanted to get it, they wanted to play it, and we had a blast with it, I've got to be honest.
Sure are quiet today.
And that's one of the reasons why I never did a walkthrough when this game first came out on PS4 last year, was because I just wanted to sit back and enjoy it with the children. But that said, if you enjoy the Japanese role-playing game genre, then you're going to have a lot of fun with this, because the gameplay systems are very, very addictive. Even if the art style and the characters don't necessarily appeal to you, you might want to stick it out a little bit, because you'll probably find it's fairly addictive. But anyway, we've got a few cutscenes here, so I'll carry on chatting after the end of them.
Oh, no thanks. A pint. I mean, a cup of coffee, please. Oh, and bring the whole jar of sugar. I'm gonna need it.
Right. That's 1 cup of joe. And I'll get you one of the big jars. Has nobody made the coffee yet? Come on, get it together, guys. I'm sorry, miss. This might take a while.
Hey, no hurry. Time's not an issue.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Sure.
There you are! Lon!
Keep it down, Reynn. How about acting your age, huh?
Hey, don't talk down to me. Listen, last time I checked, little bro, I've been around a few minutes longer than you.
Okay. I get it already. Very sorry. So, what's up? I'm all ears.
Well, you don't have to get all sarcastic. You really are all ears.
What?
Forget it. So, Lon, have you seen anybody this morning?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking right at you, aren't I? And there's that customer.
What? Ah! Oh, hello!
You didn't even see her? Dude.
Yeah, but... Ah! Look! Come with me right now!
Easy! Ow, 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 ow.
There's nobody here!
So it's a quiet morning. Maybe they just...
I mean no one!
Huh?
Lon, have you bumped into anyone today besides her?
Now that you mention it, I guess not.
And this isn't setting off any alarms?
Well, should it?
You two really don't remember a thing. Huh? What was that? Who are you? If you're from around town, then I don't know you.
Reynn, manners.
You two really don't remember a thing. Would you please just answer my question? You can call me Anna Crow. Anna Crow will work. Okay, well, we woke up to a ghost town this morning. Maybe you know why? Yes, you're quite alone. But you always have been. Huh? This world, it's always been the two of you. A world without time. One that ended when it began.
What? That's the weirdest thing I've heard.
But don't worry. Just because the world ended doesn't mean that it's going anywhere. You know, I have been checking up on you two. Until now, you were nothing but blank stares. So imagine my surprise when Lann took my order. What a morning. Okay. now you're kind of scaring me.
So, now that you're awake, we've got a story to tell. Which brings us to...
Tama, right here!
Who the hog put this thing on my head?
Yeah, I did try to mention it before.
You take it from here. I'll go on ahead and link up a path.
You the got it! Huh? Hey, you can't just leave. Salutations! The name is Tama, and I'm here to help out. Does anyone have any questions?
Wait, I've got tons of questions. Why were you sitting on my head? And how the hell can a fox even talk?
That's seriously the first thing on your mind? Now I see why a crow is just about ready to throw in the towel.
We're not allowed to be confused?
Hey, whoa, take it easy there, Lann.
I thought you were upset too.
Let's start the over. I'll make us some the coffee. Oh, yes, please.
But I already made some coffee before you got here. How can you just roll with this, Reynn?
Chill the out. You live the much longer. Yeah, Lann. You shouldn't start out your morning with so much stress. Oh, would you like some sugar? 3 cubes for you, right, Lann?
Huh?
I'm good with just one.
No.
Okay, I'll go and put the coffee on.
But I just said I... You know what? Just give me my dang cup of coffee. Mirage Keepers? Me and Reynn?
That's correct. The marks on your arms are proof. You were born to work the miracles. Miracles? Our arms can do that?
Dude.
How could you forget? You used to command a whole legion of them. You were masters of them, powerful living illusions known as mirages. In the fact, even the Pleiad answered to you, and those are the 7 strongest mirages of all. With their power, you could have ruled over all the world. Oh. So, we could have ruled the world? Because, what, we controlled these mirages? Well, that's what I've heard.
From who?
What do you mean? In a crow that told me, of course. But enough the reminiscing. I've got to teach you two to use mirages again.
What? How's that?
First off, I'm going to present you with my very own Prismarium.
So what does it do?
With this Prismarium, the mirage inside becomes yours. And you can make it do anything and everything you command. So let's try it right now in glorious combat.
Wait, what? Huh?
Here we get introduced to the battle system of World of Final Fantasy then, and if you've played any of the previous Final Fantasy games, and I'm pretty sure that most of you would have done, then you're going to be pleasantly surprised that this game borrows a lot from the previous entries, the main numbered entries in the series, and especially from the more classic games as well. So you won't be seeing a whole lot of Final Fantasy 15 in this game, but you will be seeing a lot of the older Final Fantasies, so it does appeal to the fans. Even though we said it's quite childish and children is probably the primary audience, the systems themselves do appeal to the fans.
The amount of AP you need depends on what you're trying to do, so make sure you use them wisely.
So the tutorials in this game are fairly brief, though they do take the form of these text boxes that pop up in the screen, that they really do only contain, you know, the essential information that you need to know. So perhaps in some other Final Fantasy games you have to go through annoying text tutorials. Yes, I'm thinking of Final Fantasy 7 and 8. Here it's just a couple of boxes, so that's not too bad. And you can see we have the classic menu, which I'm showing you now, and also the basic menu, which is really the shortcut menu, where you assign certain abilities and whatnot to the hotkeys on your pad. By the way, if you're playing on PC, you can also use the mouse and keyboard to play this game as well. Though I haven't tried that myself, I'm not sure exactly how comfortable it would feel, but let me know in the comment section if that's how you're choosing to play and how natural that is for you. But anyway, all we need to do in this opening tutorial battle is just keep mashing the attack button. You can, in fact, use the Foxfire ability if you choose to do so, which doesn't really matter if you do or not, but it's the little critter down here. Toma has that ability, So when it's Toma's turn, we can go ahead and select it. Honestly, I've no idea what happens if you lose this battle, or even if it's possible to lose this battle. It's never even got anywhere close to that for me. So just keep hitting the attack and you will be absolutely fine.
I knew that you had talent.
We also get introduced here to the different battle modes. Active and wait are probably going to be the two most popular. Personally, I'm just using wait, and what that means is that while you're selecting commands, everybody's active time gauges are frozen, including the enemies, so that you don't have to rush as you're going through commands and selecting what it is you want to do. But if you have it on active, then obviously they will be going up when you're selecting commands, so that will make things a lot more challenging, and you'll have to know the menus very, very well so that you can quickly make your way through them if you're going to be using that mode. But there's no extra rewards for using the hard active mode, so that's entirely up to you whether you do so or not. World of Final Fantasy then has a basic level up system included, which you can see here. You get experience for killing enemies, as you would expect in a Final Fantasy game, especially one that takes after the older Final Fantasy games. And you can level your characters up to 99, that is the cap.
Could stand up to you.
Dude, seriously?
Dude, but seriously.
It's hard to believe.
I'm sure it is. As far as I can tell, you two have lost everything. All the memories and experience you've ever accumulated. Oh, but wait. Of course that would have happened when you and this world were spliced out. Huh? So not only did they lose the mirages they had, they've been stripped of all their memories of the mirages too? But I guess that explains why all their other memories seem to be largely unaffected.
What?
Listen, let me show you something. There, just beyond this light, lies another world called Grymoire. That is where you'll find all the mirages you've lost.
You mean they're all inside this gate?
You got it. Are you ready to conquer them again?
So, if we do manage to find all the lost mirages, does that mean we'll be able to remember the things we forgot?
Well, I don't know about that. After all, you lost your memories. It's not the same thing as forgetting them.
Oh.
But even if you don't remember Grymoire, Grymoire still knows a lot about you. You're certain to find traces and records of your past.
Okay, so like...
You're saying whether we remember anything about ourselves or not, we can still find clues about our past and the things we've done?
Correct. And if you keep on gathering mirages, I think you might even meet your family in due time.
Our family?
Huh? Well, I guess it does make sense that we'd have parents.
Oh yes. So then, you going? You going? Will you journey to Grymoire?
And now we get to leave our little town and enter the big wide world. But before we do that, we get to save our game for the first time. It should be worth noting that you're only allowed one save file in World of Final Fantasy. Why there's that restriction, I do not know. But if you ever want to start the game again, you have to delete your previous save file or overwrite it in order to do so. And here we are, Chapter 1. And here we have our first dungeon, which is known as Wellspring Woods. And I do love the gameplay here in World of Final Fantasy. I'll explain how it works in a moment after the initial cutscene.
This must be Grymoire. What?
Lann, you look like such a little dweeb.
Oh, I know! We look ridiculous!
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure that's how everybody in this world must look. Ina Crow just wanted to make sure you had a nice and a handy way of blending in.
Wow, she can do stuff like that?
That is awesomely weird.
Well, this kind of works out. We won't have anybody gawking at our arms.
Way to find the silver lining.
Okay, we get a bit of tutorial here regarding the Lillikin and the Giants, which are the two forms main characters can take upon themselves. Lillikin being the smaller forms that they're in at the moment. You can also switch forms at any moment while you're wandering around in the world.
We should head straight down this path.
But one of the things I wanted to explain to you was that World of Final Fantasy really takes after the older Final Fantasy games in the way that the story is presented to us. And by that I mean, you're generally given over to a town or a hub or something of that nature in order to, you know, well, to go through the story, I guess. And then you're thrust into a dungeon, which involves a linear path through multiple floors sometimes before facing a boss at the end. And, of course, there's treasures and that to loot upon the way. Here then we have our next battle, and again this is more of a tutorial battle. I don't think it's possible to lose it, so there's going to be a bit of dialogue. But basically what we're going to be learning here is that most enemies in the game can be captured, think Pokemon style, and we can use these enemies in battle to help us on our way and on our travels and journey. So the way you can capture an enemy, first of all you need a prism, which is that little glass thing that you've just seen. And you'll need an empty one in order to capture an enemy. Now don't worry, pretty much every time you start a battle against a new enemy, you automatically get one of these empty prisms.
It'll be recorded in Enna Crow's special Mirage manual.
Whoa! Does it even have pictures?
You the betcha. And then whenever you add a new Mirage to the manual, you receive one of its prisms. But only the first time, mind you. Okay, first, try the weakening the Choco Chick, then they use your prism.
Every enemy then has its own special requirements that need to be true before it'll go into a Prism Tunity state, which means you can capture it. So some of these requirements can be quite complex. In this case it's fairly simple. We just have to hit the Choco Chick with physical attacks, and eventually that will knock it into Prism Tunity, meaning we can then go ahead and capture it. Now you can kill enemies if you wish to do so instead, just by depleting their health, or you can capture them if you want to do so. So the two ways of ending the battle are there. And by the way, we're getting some information on the screen here regarding elements and status symbols. So I've kept them on the screen for a couple of minutes because you might want to just keep a record of these, perhaps take a picture of them, a photo with your phone or something, since in battle you'll generally only see these icons, and it's nice to have a quick reference as to what they actually are and what they mean.
Take this!
Okay, so what we're going to do here is see that the Choco Chick needs physical attacks hitting against it in order to put it into Prism Tunity. So that's exactly what we're going to do, just use our normal attack command. And when an enemy goes into Prism Tunity, you'll know this is true because they'll start flashing all around them and have this kind of, well, just special effect around them.
There!
Pretty much that.
Use the Imprism command to claim that Mirage for your own. Go on! The Select the Imprism command. You might have to try different things before certain Mirages will let down their guard and to give you a chance to imprison them. Think the outside of the box.
Okay, so Tom has explained that pretty nicely for us. Now that we've got it in Prism Tunity, we can go ahead and use the Imprison command. And you can also use Libra on enemies if you're not sure what the requirements are for putting them into Prism Tunity state. But of course, any good Mirages, I will be explaining to you how to capture them throughout this series as we go anyway. And there we have it. So there's a lot we can do with a captured Mirage, but we'll talk about that in a moment.
It's yours to the keep.
No trouble at all.
Oh yeah.
And we'll get another batch of experience. And as you can see, all the characters in our party receive experience, which will level them up. And we also get some gil. And we get the opportunity, once we've captured a Mirage here, to just see its abilities if we want to, in its various forms once it's leveled up. And we can also name it, or keep the default name, which I'll probably be doing throughout most of this series, since my imagination's not that exciting, quite frankly. Okay, so once we've captured the Choco Chick, we'll get another cutscene, and then we're going to move on.
Cool! I can see the Choco Chick running around in the Prismarium.
Pretty the neat, huh? Next, why don't you have a go at stacking that Choco Chick on your head? Here, watch, I'll just show you.
Oh, now I get it. So when I saw you perched on Lann's head back in Ninewood Hills, that's what you call stacking.
Yep, that's the right. While I'm up to here, I get to take it nice and easy.
Is that stacking or slacking?
When you create a stack, the HP of everyone in the stack gets the added together. Like they say, strength in the numbers.
Oh, so it's like combining into a super robot.
Better yet, your magic and other abilities have the potential to change too. It all depends on how your stack is configured.
Huh? Oh, I don't need any action figures when I get to blast out super attacks like a super robot.
Well, just be careful. Stacking doesn't make you invincible. Some of the enemy attacks have the power to unstack you.
In other words, bye-bye super robot, so to speak.
Yowzers. It does sound like bad news.
It's true that we are individually the weaker when we're unstacked, but look on the brighter side. Since we each get our own turn in battle, we can use the extra moves to have one member attack and another the heal. It can be very helpful. Depending on the situation, you might even decide to unstack yourselves by choice.
And here we're learning about stacks.
The best setup for the job.
So the enemies that we capture as mirages and that then fight with us don't have to fight on their own. They can actually join us as part of a stack, our other characters. Now, you can have 3 characters in a single stack: a large character, a medium-sized character, and a small character. So the Lillykins, our 2 main party members, are classed as medium-sized characters, or they're large characters when they're in their giant form. If that sounds a little bit confusing, don't worry. It'll all make sense as we begin to progress through the game. And it'll all become second nature to you by the end, I assure you.
To get on top of a mirage, you need to be in Lillikin form. The best way to learn is to try it once you've rounded up a few more mirages. You'll pick it up in no time.
Huh? A dead end?
But there's nowhere else to go. What are we gonna do?
Never the fear! Look closely. This may appear to be a wall, but it's actually a gimme golem.
Is this a mirage too?
Not in the traditional sense of the word, but you'll see these pests all over Grymoire. And unless you give them what they want, they'll give you a hard time and block the way.
So what is it they want?
It really depends on the gimme golem. So the first thing you'll have to do is examine it. Gimme!
So where do we find that?
That choco chick you just imprisoned ought to be able to track down what we need. But first things first, you're going to have to unlock the right ability on the choco chick's Mirage board.
So now we get to learn about different abilities, and if you play Final Fantasy 13 or Final Fantasy 12, then you'll be familiar with the license boards, the Crystarian boards, etc, etc. That's pretty much what our Mirages come with, and they each come with their own board as well. So we're going to open up the Mirage board for the Choco Chick, and we're going to teach it the first ability, which is the Stroll ability, and that enables the Choco Chick to wander around the field with us. And it's quite cosmetic, it's like having a companion pet, but the Choco Chick is also able to go ahead and detect hidden items for us. And the reason I'm not learning that RAM ability, even though we've got the SP to do so, is because I want to try and save up for Cure, which is just a couple of more points than what we have at the moment.
The Choco Chick's come along for a stroll.
Now, I don't actually happen to come across any other random encounters in this area, though you can encounter the Moo creature, and you can imprison that if you want to. One thing that you want to do, though, once you've gone ahead and got the Choco Chick strolling with you, is approach this bush. You can see it's got the search button, or the search magnifying glass thing above it, so we can just go up and approach it and loot the Luster Leaf, and we can give that to the Gimme Golem to access the next area.
Now, try examining the Gimme Golem one more at a time. Gimme!
Whoa, it vanished.
That's so cool. I guess the Choco Chick found us just the item we needed.
Yep. With the help of a Mirage or the two, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. And Mirage boards are for much more than unlocking abilities. You can also use them to change your Mirages into new and powerful forms. So be sure to keep on the leveling up and working on your Mirage boards. Pretty soon, you'll be bouncing and trouncing across Grymoire like a pair of the pros.
The rest of this area is fairly simple then, although there are a few items we can loot, so we get introduced to the treasure system. If we make our way up, there's an alcove just up above us here that you can see, and this contains some potions. This chest, we'll want to go ahead and loot it. And then if we just go over to the other side, run past the next junction, where there's that weird enemy thing that you can just see with red eyes, and up here first of all we'll grab the chest, containing some Phoenix Down. Phoenix Downs are really good in this game, by the way, because they have an AoE effect, so every character that's killed will be resurrected once you use one. I'll mention that now because I'll probably forget later.
Now, that's weird. Who was it that told me all this before? It's like right there on the tip of my tongue.
Now what's this?
This is the called a Merc Rift. Inside, you're the likely to find mirages that are, shall we say...
Mirages? Oh man, let's go catch them.
So this weird thing here is actually a Merc Rift. Now, Merc Rifts contain enemies that are very, very powerful. They're usually far more powerful when you first meet them than your party will be able to handle. But it looks like Lann has decided to jump in first and start asking questions later. So let's get on with it and see how this battle goes, shall we?
Why did you... Now what do we do? I tried to tell you. Inside Merc Rifts, you're likely to find mirages that are the strong and dangerous.
You tried to tell us. Try a little harder, please.
Okay, well the fact of the matter is you don't stand a chance in this encounter, unfortunately. So it is going to lead to all of our characters being killed, no matter what you try and do. At least I've never found a way of actually taking this guy out here. Maybe it's possible. Let me know in the comment section if you think that it is. But I don't see how, quite frankly. So do what you want to do, and eventually you'll be killed, and the next part of the game will continue on.
Oh no. Did you two die already?
What? I died? But that's... no way.
Maybe it's true. That mirage in the Merc Rift did kinda...
Well, I'm still alive.
Yes. That's because someone intervened, right at the moment of your demise, and made it so the battle never happened. Wow, you can really do that? Of course. Although Tama's the one who does it. That's the right! I have the power to rewind time a little, and then to whisk you to safety. Although, it costs me a life to do it, so I hope you don't mind if I rest for a little the while afterwards.
A life?
You might not believe it, but I've actually got multiple lives. Back there, I had to sacrifice one of those lives to turn back time and to save you. You see, this girl with the ribbon that showed up in my dreams, she's the one who taught me how to do it.
That makes zero sense and kind of freaks me out, but Tama, I'm impressed.
Thanks! Oh, but just so you know, I can only use my powers to protect the two of you specifically. And only if you lose a fight, like what happened to you in the Merc Rift. Oh, yeah! And I can always recover my lives if you stay here and let me rest a spell. So, don't forget to give me a breather before I run out of second the chances.
Dude, you got it. Say no more. Rest yourself silly.
Yes, sir!
Thanks, Tama. We really owe you one. Especially Lann, who didn't have the good sense to listen before diving in.
Hey, who's that?
Oh, if you mean our new guest, she claims to have gotten herself lost. Go say hello. She's quite the character.
Okay.
The real question is how she got here from the outside world when it's no easy trick. She must have experience crossing between planes.
And we're done with our first dungeon run, and it looks like we've come back to life quite safely. So there is no game over in World of Final Fantasy. Well, actually there is, but under normal conditions you're not going to see it. Normally, if you're killed in battle, you'll automatically be ported back through this gate here, and will have to go back to your previous destination whenever you're ready to do so. So death isn't the end, fortunately. But that said, you know, you still want to avoid it for obvious reasons. It's still a bit of a hindrance and a bit of a nuisance. But I think we'll finish off there for today. So we've come to the first save crystal here, and obviously you can use this to overwrite your one and only save file. So make sure you collect everything you want to collect before you use these things when you're out in the world. Because I'm not sure why we have that restriction in this game. Only being allowed to have one save file seems a little bit restrictive, but not much we can do about it, so we'll just have to get on with it. Okay then guys, well I hope you've enjoyed this first episode. Next time we're going to be introduced to some new features, and we're going to look a little bit more in depth at stacks and how the battle system works and how we develop our party and get stronger and stronger. But thanks for stopping by today folks, I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have, don't forget to leave a like, be subscribed to the FuzzfingerGaming YouTube channel, and I'll see you soon for more World of Final Fantasy. Goodbye.